makes most women start a business? Is it passion, money, or freedom? Welcome to Female Founders, the podcast that takes you behind the scene with women who are founders and CEOs to help you start and scale a successful business of your own. I am your host, Nagelia de Ravine. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Female Founders. In this episode, we are going to have a conversation with Nanette D. She is the founder of the online community Divorce After 40 and also the founder of Live Life Now LLC. She has been working toward empowering women so that they not only survive the pain of going through a divorce, but get through it stronger, wiser, and braver. Good morning, Nanette. You have such an amazing story. I can't wait to learn more about the journey. You are a divorce coach, certified health and life coach. What is the backstory of picking that path to empower women?
Oh, goodness. Well, thank you very much, first of all, for having me. This is an honor. I'm always honored when somebody wants to know more about my story and why I'm doing what I'm doing. But so the backstory is I was married 25 years. My marriage came crumbling down. It was years of healing, and I like to say active healing, because that doesn't just happen. You have to actually move forward. And so with that, I've got 3 kids, and I would spend my life, busy and traveling and doing and trying to keep myself busy. And then 2020 hits, as we all know and love about the year 2020. And I found myself, like everyone, home, nothing to do, trying to learn how to work out at home, trying to learn to not see my family. And instead of Netflix binging and overeating, I decided that I would start taking some classes online. And it literally started with a Yale University free course called The Science of Wellbeing. And just dove into it. I'm like, all right, let's do this. And honestly, it just snowballed. From there, I learned about Mind Valley. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Mind Valley.
Mind Valley. Can you explain that for us?
Mind Valley, I can't think of the gentleman's name who started it, but it's basically a platform where you can go and have, you take classes, you listen to speakers. This is where I actually found out about it through, on the class Science of Wellbeing. I found out about Michael Beckwith. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Michael Beckwith.
Yes.
I'd heard of him, and I'm like, oh, why is that name so familiar? So I Googled him, and I'm like, oh, Michael Beckwith, I know him. Great, amazing man to listen to. Well, he, in his link, is on Mind Valley, where he has, and it's basically where you, like I said, you can take classes. You have to, join the group, but there is a multitude of people you can listen to. Health, spiritual, religious, whatever you are wanting to learn about. And from there, I learned more about meditation. I learned more about coaching. And then I decided to take classes on life coaching. Became a certified life coach. And I have a health journey of my own, but always trying to take care of myself. So I thought, well, you know what? Being a life coach, how about let's learn how to be let's take training on being a health coach.
Right.
Certified myself in that. And in that whole process, I got myself a life coach. And she, tried to make a long story short, she encouraged me to write a book, the book that was on my bucket list to write. And from there, it's end of 2020 now. What else am I got to do? So I poured myself into writing my story. And a journey of how, a young girl who meets a guy and get married and they have children and they build an incredible life together. And then it falls apart. And then how do you not only heal that broken heart, but how do you move on and be productive in life? I was almost 50 at this point. So yeah, I wrote my story. My life coach said that my story would be such a great cornerstone for my coaching business. And that was all she needed to say to me. I was just like, oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Let's do this. And I mean, truly, it's my story. I just poured the words out onto the pages. And then a year later, it was published. And then in all of that, I was someone reached out to me about divorce coaching. I'm like, divorce coaching? I didn't even know. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a divorce. Because ago, I would have welcomed a divorce coach. Um, I saw a counselor, but to have someone be able to guide you through all of the ins and outs and to prepare you, even before you file, there are things that you should be preparing for. And I'm not an advocate of divorce, but unfortunately, it's part of the world we live in, and it's part of relationships. And,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, in my age group, 50 and over, right now, we have the highest divorce rate right now is our age group.
Unfortunately. And it shouldn't be at that age, you know? It shouldn't be at that age.
I wouldn't think so. But, unfortunately, families, husbands and wives, they kind of live through it and they stay together for the children. And then all of a sudden, now what? And rather than working on the relationship, some stray, and then the whole marriage crumbles. And then you have to start over. And, even in marriages where, or divorces where the women end up with a good substantial amount of money. I mean, they're 50 plus, most times people are in a good place financially, most of the time.
Right.
But women our age, even if they have a good amount of money at their divorce, within 5 to 7 years, they don't have that money anymore because they're not financially preparing. They're not taking all the right steps to make sure that they have their finances in order until, their ripe old age of 100, you know?
Exactly. And also one thing I will think that too, it's a lot more than just money because
Oh,
for me, I looked at it. You spend, like for example, my grandparents, like my grandma and my grandpa meet at the age of 15 and 16 and got married at that age and have over 15 kids together. So when you're looking at that building, that empowered, that all those little kids running around, and you said we're just gonna go separate way, it's become a very hard things to go through. Even I think even for both of them, and I couldn't imagine my grandma even would want to do that. It's like, don't get me wrong, they're no longer here with us, and they die being together and stay together.
right.
My grandpa died, and then a year later, my grandma said, "There's no purpose for me to be here anymore. I need to go home." And then she passed as well. But the thing is that I see the love for one another even at the old age. When I go to the house, they're holding hands. I'm like, yeah, I was a kid. Don't do that. But I think couples should look at it this way, because that person, as a woman, we take everything we got, we put to that relationship, from handling the household to everything else. We're like the backbones of that man. When that man goes somewhere looking good, the woman got something to do with it. So when you just don't
So
even
true.
try to fix that relationship, it's hurt. For me, I'm
Yeah.
looking at it, even it hasn't happened to me yet, but I'm looking at it like, that hurt. Don't do that.
Oh,
So
it's hurtful for sure. Yeah. A pain
yeah,
like,
I think,
yeah, a pain that's you can't even describe actually. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's my journey of quickly how I got here. I just realized one day I have the capability of helping other women. I can't take away their pain. They have to live through it, but I can help them prepare and I can give them support and help them build their confidence because life isn't over. Women, we start thriving in our 50s and 60s and 70s. Women do great things. So I don't want them to give up. and I don't want them to be alone through it. And that is why I wanted to become a divorce coach. But I also, in my practice, I focus a lot on their health, because their mental, their physical, and spiritual strength are so important. I've kind of pegged it their SEP strength: spiritual, emotional, and physical strength, because
Oh, I love it.
you need all of them. You truly, truly need all of them. And sometimes it's hard to see that when you're in your own pain, it's you in your own world. And it's sometimes hard to not feel like a victim. It's hard to not, why is me, why me? And those questions in that moment in your life is okay, because you need to go through it, but you also need to pick up your bootstraps and, put the big girl panties on, as they say, and just plow through it. Like, you have to find that. And I want to be that person that, like, I can't do this today. I'm like, yeah, you can. I'm going to be my girlfriend. She says it's a CAO, Chief Accountability Officer. I want to be that to women, to say, if you can't get out of bed by 9, say you're out of bed by 10, and give yourself one job, one hurdle to cross that day. And it just gets easier. I went through it. Where you don't want to get up in the morning and you just pretend that life is all fine, and it's not. So
It's not.
no, and
Yes.
that's my mission. I want people to know, women to know, that you'll survive it. It's not a cakewalk, but more importantly, you're going to thrive and become the best version of yourself if you allow it to happen.
Happen. Yes. So now, what is a divorce after 40?
Okay, so this community I started um, really about a year ago, and it was just, again, another class I was taking about forming communities, and I wanted to make it a safe place for women to go. And I have women who are already divorced, who are, thinking about divorce, and some who are, just filed or in the process. But I try to fill this site with just information. There's topics like, did you know? And all the things like, did you know I just finished one. It's called 15 Reasons Why Mistakes That Women Make When Divorcing.
Ooh, 15 years.
Yeah, and I do a lot of research, and I go on Google, but then I read it, and then I, transfer that information in my own words and in my own thoughts of, yeah, these are the things you shouldn't do, and here's why. But, I have topics like, jumping forward, like remarriage. Do you think about remarriage,
Mm.
or, will you ever? I personally, 100% no way. I just celebrated. I, I just celebrated my third. So there's just all kinds of topics that I want these women to think about, and ask questions. One lady was like, she said, "I need to see a lawyer. What should I ask?" So I compiled at least 10 key questions that you need to make sure you ask, and then also. For women, they think, okay, I got to get my divorce attorney and then be done. Mm-mm. You need a financial advisor,
Hmm.
almost more important than your divorce attorney. You should hire
Really?
a financial advisor while you are thinking about planning to divorce. Yeah. And
May I ask why?
because especially when, and again, I'm coaching women my age, who knows? You could have a huge lump sum of money. Well, you have to learn how to live on that, whatever that may be. So one of the first things that I did was I found a financial advisor, and I told him I want to know what my allowance is each month, and
Mm.
I call it my allowance. So I had to break down all of my expenses, make sure that I knew every little detail of how much I thought that I would need each month to live on. I was fortunate that I didn't have to get a job. I mean, I did a lot of volunteer work. I do a lot of volunteer work and such, but I'm busy that way. But, you think that, oh my God, I have all this money. I don't need to work. I don't need to worry about it. But you still need to live within a budget. You still need to,
Mm-hmm.
how much can I afford? Um, and there's actually financial advisors who are certified in divorce. Like that's what
Ooh.
they're certified to do. And one of them is a friend of mine, and she said, even before you file, you really should seek a financial advisor, just so you know. I know I've had a few people, women say, "Oh, I don't care about the money." I'm like, well, you better, because how are you going to live? Like, I know the money maybe doesn't mean anything to you, but it does. You have to live. Like, you've got to pay bills, and I know that comes into play in a lot of with depression and stuff. But yeah, there's a multitude of things that you have to consider. Sometimes my youngest daughter was still living at home with me, so they weren't babies, but I had to think ahead of, she was just getting out of high school. Is there going to be college? Do you have to, you have to think about all those
Ooh.
expenses that they're not sitting in front of you right now, but in five
But they're
years
coming.
they're coming. What happens when they need a car? Or what happens? I mean, they buy the car and they Mom, I need $100. Or, like, you have to consider all these expenses so that, you can still go about living your grand life, you know, whatever that looks like to you. I'm not talking just,
Yeah.
but you want, you're in your retirement years. Like, we're entering our retirement years. We want to make sure that we can live out our life comfortably. I'm not talking about, you're 30 something and you have little babies and you both still have jobs. Same thing, but it's different. It's just different. And these are the things that I'm really passionate about, giving women that knowledge, that you just be prepared. And I actually have I prepared a guide, and it's just called Being Prepared. And here are the things that you need to think about. And I'm sure, I probably missed, some things, but these are the big things. You need an accountant. I want them to have accountants, financial advisors, and attorneys, because I hate to, I don't want to badmouth attorneys, but, you can't rely on them to know everything about you.
Everything.
There's, they have one job, but you have so many other things to take care of, um, that they can't always help you with. So
Exactly.
it's just about being prepared. And as I speak, I get more passionate about it because
I
I,
can see, I can tell the way you're talking, the way you like. I'm like, oh my goodness, she's like in another world right here.
because it just gets me fired up, because again, you said earlier, it's the same for men, and absolutely it is. But I'm not a man who divorced his wife.
Yes,
I can only speak from my own experience. I can only speak from me as a woman divorcing, separating at, I don't know, 48 years old, and married 20 some years. And that's where I'm coming from. And that's really why,
exactly.
yeah. And that's why I chose to strictly, really, I really strictly want to work with women, and maybe not 20 years. I mean, 15, 18 years. It's a long time. It's a long time to be married, but you just, again, I can't say it enough. They have to be prepared. There's so many things to consider, and that your lifestyle could very well change, and you have to be prepared for that.
I think it
Um,
is. I think it is because look at it this way: if for some that the husband is working, the wife is working, it's a two income, right? So now you are separating. There's no two incomes anymore. It's just a one income, which means whoever's going to get the house or whatever's going to happen, you are responsible for this at this point and your own. So you have to be ready. Like you said again, I like the fact that you said you cannot speak for men because we are not men. We don't know how they think. We don't know why they do things they do. I don't know. Maybe we don't know what they are thinking, but for sure, we know how we act. We know the issues we face with as women.
Yeah.
And like I said, I can speak for my grandma more than I can speak for my grandpa because I know the pain as a mom, as a wife. So if
Yeah.
my husband wanted to divorce me, I will know how that feel because at this point, like, dude, I just gave you over 5 years of my life. You're just gonna walk away
Yeah.
like that? I think I worth something for that 5 years. For me, I think my negotiation will be a lot higher because I will put a price for every single day that I was with you. So I think no one will want to divorce me because you'll be broke, double broke, triple broke.
I love the best part. What I love about speaking with, where are you calling from?
Oh, I am in Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas. Okay. But clearly we are from different backgrounds, but we think the same way. We're women. We're mothers. We're sisters. We're friends.
Yes.
We think the same way. We have the same heart that wants to be taken care of, as you will take care of your husband's heart. But
Yes.
when somebody stomps on it, oh, you will be fighting
You
it.
will get. Oh yeah, you will get a piece of me. It's not gonna go down that easy, dude. No. Some stuff gonna go down. It's gonna go down because I'm gonna plan this the perfect way to get you down with it. And it's kind of funny. I say that to my husband all the time too, and he's looking at me. I'm not going anywhere. I don't care how you want to get rid of me. I'm like, okay, glad to hear that because if you're going down, you're going down. But one thing I like with you is the fact that you are not just helping from your experience, from all these things you went through, but you are also educating yourself. You went and learn and study and spend the time to make yourself better to go out there to support women. I love that because not everyone doing that. Some people are just, oh, I want to be this. They become this without nothing behind it. So you back up yourself with different things. I got the experience. This dude was trying to school me here. So we went through that entire divorce for it after I gave him most of my life, which is nothing to him. And then you also went the other way and like, I'm going to educate myself. Instead of watching Netflix, which is nothing is wrong with your Netflix, but you can be addicted. So you actually educate yourself. And I love that. I love seeing women that want to do more than just do nothing. Because I've seen women that went through divorce and just sit there and do nothing. It's like, you can do something. This is not it.
No, and that's so what I appreciate your words. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Um, Again, coming from another woman, it really, really does. And also, I'm a big advocate of like. So I have another guide that it's like what's next, and in that what's next, you need to get off the couch, go volunteer, take some classes, join a gym, join some clubs, do something. I say that in my book. You don't have to do what I did, but do something. You've got to get yourself motivated. And we all have days. Don't you have a days where you're like, oh, I don't feel like doing
I just want
anything?
to stay in the bed and do nothing.
Exactly. You know what? I allow myself those afternoons of, you know what? I just don't have any energy today. I need to take an hour where I don't do anything. And I allow myself that time. Because it's again part of going back to the self-care that I didn't do that when my kids are 30, 28, and 24. I didn't do that when I was when they were when they were little. I went 24/7 for them. No regrets, but I did learn eventually that I have to take care of myself. I
Yes.
can't give what I don't have.
I agree with that. And us as women, we try to give what we don't have
Always.
because we want to carry everything to our shoulder. We want to do it all. That's the reason why we're best at multitasking. Why do you think a man can multitask? They
Oh
can't
God.
because they don't do all this thing we are doing. So us, we're breastfeeding on one side, the other side, we're watching the dishes, we're taking the phone, we're doing like so many different things, and we don't even realize we are doing that. And at the
Absolutely.
end of the day, we are exhausted. And we're asking, why am I so exhausted? Well, go back to your day, you figure it out why.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%.
So you also the founder of Live Life Now with Purpose. Can you tell us what is it about?
Well, Live Life Now with Purpose is my website. Live Life Now, LLC is my business. It's my company name. And then my website is just with purpose, only because I couldn't have livelifenow.com because someone else took it. But I did love the adding on with purpose,
Yeah,
because
me too.
we can all live life, but how about if you have purpose, and whatever that purpose, it's different for everyone, but it goes back to do something, just do.
Yes.
And then my book, Shattered Dreams and New Beginnings, there's kind of a backstory as to why the author is Live Life Now, because the publishing company that I used wouldn't allow me to use my real name, because it was a memoir, and people's names were, even if they were, I mean, the names were all changed, but they wouldn't allow me to use my real name.
Hmm.
So I went back and forth a few times giving pen names and trying to find meaning to the pen names. And finally, one day I just said to the publishing company, I'm like, why can't I just let my company sign it? Or, as a sign off by my company. And they said, yeah, that's
Cool.
no. So that's why I chose that. I thought, I don't want to be, Mrs. Joe Blow signing off as the author. I would rather have it connected to me through my business, Live Life Now. And I've trademarked it so that no one else can ever use that
That.
that that tagline. So, I'm really trying to get myself out there, and I can advertise as I'm the published author, which I don't understand, but it's just publishing technicalities is what I had to get around. So Live Life Now with Purpose is my website, where I have, I've got reviews on it. You can buy, I've got 2 books on there now. In a multi-author book called Invisible No More, Stepping into the Spotlight. And then my book, Shattered Dreams and New Beginnings. And I'm actually a part of a second multi-author book that's being published at the end of this month, on July
You are
29th.
busy.
Transforming pain into purpose. But it's when you're telling your story, and I mean, transforming pain into purpose. I told my story and to how I became a divorce and health coach. So, when you're making stuff up, I would think that gets confusing and challenging. But when you're really just telling your story and what you did and how you did it and why you did it, it really is. It's a little time consuming,
Smart.
but it's not mind challenging. It's like, I know what happened and why. So I need to put it on paper. And then now I'm trying to build a coaching business and learning copywriting and advertising and on Facebook and social media. And very challenging. But, again, I hired a business coach to help me. I thought, I don't know how to do any of this. And someone to,
Help.
I need someone to guide me. And I was fortunate enough to find a woman who, mid 40s, strong, smart, successful, and she's a business coach. So I feel so blessed to have her in my corner teaching me.
Yes, and we always need that instead of trying to go through the whole thing alone. It's actually it's never good to be alone when you think about it. It's good to have other people that you can reach out to and ask for help. But where can people get your book on your? I know they can get it on your website. Can they go to Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and things like that, and also grab a copy?
Feel like I can't remember if Barnes and Nobles. I think that is on Barnes and Nobles. I always direct people to Amazon, or you can go directly to the publishing company. iUniverse um, is the publishing company, and you can go there and buy the book and um, leave reviews. But the only good part, when you buy it from my website, it's a hardcover signed by the author. I will sign it and ship it off.
Cool.
Yeah, shipping it off personally. And there was something about, for me, having it a hard copy. You can get a paperback on Amazon, but for me, there was something about doing it with a hardcover. I want that book sitting on someone's nightstand, or on the coffee table,
Mm-hmm.
or proudly displaying it on their bookshelf, because it's a sunrise, so it's orange. It stands out. So yeah, that was very important to me, that I had the hard copies and that I could, sign them personally and mail them off myself.
I love that. So, what to expect when sign up for the private community at Divorce After 40?
So currently, it was a free community to join, and I have just in the last week made it so that it's a small monthly fee to be a part of it. I'm learning that people tend to engage more when they
If it's
have
paid.
money invested. And I was
Yes.
denial for that for a very long time. And I felt, oh, I don't know. Is this something? Should I do this? And then I realized, like, yeah, I need to. And it's not. I'm not asking for hundreds of dollars,
No?
but I do feel that getting people to engage, it's challenging. But on the website, again, like, ask me anything you can. And now there's quite a bit of information that women can find um, on many different topics relating to divorce. One of them is like setting boundaries, setting boundaries in
Mm.
they're going through the process. And I really also encourage women to tell me what you want to know about. Tell me what you want to write about. What is on your mind? Because, I've been through it, but I'm just trying to find my topics here so I can tell you what. So one of them, first of all, is finance. Moving forward, how do you do that? Setting boundaries, learning to relax, going solo. You're single again. Like,
Yes.
I write about that in my book about, like, I'm single going out for the first time. Like, how do I act? I don't know how to act. Went out on my own as a married woman, but I've never gone out as a single woman since I was 18. That's a long time and then to have
Yeah.
position again. The other one is, what are your fears about divorce in the future? Like, tell me what you're afraid of. Health and wellness. The other topic is dating. It's a big world.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, and some of the topics are obviously not for those who are thinking about divorce or going through it, but eventually you're going to get there. And I've got many women who say, "Oh, I'm never going to do that. I'm never say
You
never."
will.
Never. Remarrying. One of the women asked me for information on what a healthy relationship looks like. She wanted to know what
Aw.
a healthy relationship look like. I'm like, wow, what a great topic that is. And then grief and grieving. A divorce it's a death. It's a
I
death,
agree.
and you have to grieve it, and you have to make new goals. And there's the power of friendship as you heal. Bless you. So
Thank you.
I really try to fill it with topics that are of interest or that will get them to think.
And I like that because not everyone is thinking that way when they go. Even when they're thinking about it, they don't think about this thing. They're just thinking, "What am I gonna do now? What am I gonna do now? What am I gonna do now?" And that's it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, they don't actually follow through with anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is my mission. And now, currently, I am actually trying to build a list of um, divorce attorneys that will answer questions.
Ooh, I like that idea.
Yeah, financial advisors. And I don't want 10 of them, but I would like 3 or 4 of them, where women can feel comfortable with whomever they choose. Uh,
Hmm.
Maybe an accountant. They might want to ask some questions of an accountant. But yeah, I want them to be able to have a list of people that they can at least ask. Maybe not hire them, but let's just ask a few questions and let's help them out. So that again is kind of why I started to say, okay, let's do a small monthly fee to belong here, get some information. So again, the community it's only a year old. In the beginning, I would say it's in the infancy stage. But now I think I have a toddler on my hands. So, so we're, growing and learning along the way. But yeah, it's just, my mission is to just make it a safe place where women can go and ask questions and vent if you need to, or, connect with someone who might be at the same stage as you are.
Cheers.
So, so
I love that.
thank you. I appreciate that. And I've never been, next to having my children and raising them, I've never been as passionate and purposeful as I am right now.
You just find your purpose, another purpose, because at first your kids was your purpose, but now you find another one.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the way I see it is, I hope it's just another reason for my kids to look up to me and admire how and I say this only because they've said this to me, that, taken from a very dark place in my life to a place where the sun is shining 90%.
Aww, I like that. I know that you are gonna add a lot of other things. For example, I know you are adding the having different lawyers and then different people that can help. So, other than that, what are your other future plans to continue helping women?
Well, the other thing that I am working on, and I am trying to build up my confidence for this. I don't know if you've ever heard of something. It's like NLP, neuro linguistic programming. It's changing your way of thinking. Well, I have found another platform. It's called SRT, subconscious release technique. And it's basically the same thing where you take those blocks, those mind blocks, and you clear them. You're just learning to
Cool.
and if somebody were to say this to me, and I'd be like, oh, really? But I've went through it twice. And the release of tension and disbelief in yourself, it was fascinating. So I am working on, that's my next certification.
Sure.
I'm hoping that's my next goal, is to do that. And then also with my coaching, I'm offering, you must have heard of Reiki technique.
Yes.
So I've also been working with a woman who does this, and again, fascinating. So now in my summer promotion for my coaching, I'm offering, I will take care of 3 sessions for you. I will take care of 3, financially, in your package that you pay for. Part of this package is you get 3 Reiki sessions, and hopefully they'll continue it on. But I'm just trying to introduce women to different ways of thinking, learn to meditate. It's not something I was ever able to do. And now
it's hard.
It is very challenging, but I found once you really get the basics down, and even, get the apps that they have, it was life-changing for me. Truly, this is how I discovered that I needed to become a certified life coach. Just in my meditation. Just answers came to me. So, these are all the things that I'm moving forward to and trying to get certified in, so that I can just help women and others.
And any advice for do you have any advice for women that are going through divorce right now?
Well, my advice to you is seek counseling, for sure. A counselor and a coach are 2 different things. And I would also say, in tandem, a coach. If I had the like, I look back now, and if I would have known about a divorce coach, I would have went to see my counselor one day, and I would have went to see my coach the next day. Because your counselor is helping you deal with everything mentally and trying to, get you out of this dark place, but your coach will get you prepared and, guide you through all these steps that it's overwhelming. I can remember days where I would just want to cry because I didn't know what to do next. So yeah, counseling and coaches, they kind of go hand in hand, I feel, with divorce.
Well, I think the other thing they can do, they can make their life a little bit easier. Just reach out to Nanette. Just reach out to Nanette. Just ask her for help, because she's been through it. She educated herself. She knows how it feels. And she can understand how you are feeling right now at this moment because she was there before. So why not reach out to someone like you that's already know how it is to go through a divorce? That's how I see it.
Exactly. And I know that I know you can get certified as to being a divorce coach. I don't know if you actually, I don't know how many divorce coaches have actually been through divorce, whether they're, you know what I'm saying? I don't know that statistic. I suppose I should research that. But I say I'm a certified life and health coach, and I'm a divorce coach through life experience. And
Exactly. Anything else you'd like to share with us before I let you go?
I think we've covered everything. You are fantastic at interviewing, and it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And you know what? I just really love to promote my community, Divorce After 40. I do have a Facebook page, Women Divorcing After 40. Don't fear the future. That, you know, that's a free group to join. And then my Live Life Now Facebook page. And then my
A lot of research.
Pardon?
A lot of information for women, so they are not alone if they're going through that at all. So you're giving them a bunch of places to go to be able to connect and then get information they need and feel empowered by other women.
Yeah. And then, you know, to me, the one-to-one coaching it's just going to add value to your future. Actually, it's going to add value to their process through it. And then I'm excited to help them figure out what's next for them. Like that's the exciting part, you know. I always say I used to fear the future. Now it excites me. It truly does.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Nanette, for giving me your time. And I appreciate you helping other women because that's also my mission. We are doing it in two different ways. I mean, like in two different parts. But at the end of the day, that's what's going to make a woman complete to be able to go out there and also go help other women. So please, I always ask other women to not stop because sometimes helping other women, it's like helping our own children when they were little because it's a lot of work. And but be patient because we need to understand where they're coming from, and then not all of them are on the same level that we are, and we have to be patient to continue guide them until they get there.
So true. Beautifully said. Beautifully said.
Thank you, Nanette.
You've been a joy to speak with. Thank you so much.
Wow, what a great conversation with Nanette. I can imagine what women go through during and after a divorce, especially those who have been married for a long time. If you are going through a divorce, remember you are not alone and get help and join other women that can support you. Women like Nanette that create a path for other women just like you. Thank you, Nanette, for taking the time to have this conversation with me. Let me know your thoughts about this episode with Nanette. And to learn more about Nanette and Divorce After 40 and Live Life Now LLC, visit www.livelifenowwithpurpose.com. Thank you for listening to Female Founders Podcast. That's it for this week's episode. Be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app or connect with us on womel.com so that you don't miss our next episode. See you next time. Bye for now.